Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, like this beautiful light I'm getting right here. Greetings to you all. 144, chosen of the chosen few. You all know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth. From my heart to yours, as usual, bringing you the cosmic news, if you so choose to infuse. And this is one you want to infuse with. So we're talking about the great energetic seal by the cosmic messenger. These are the anomalies of Third Eye Atlas that I'm piecing it all together. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and a lot has been going on. I've been doing back-to-back workshops because of preparation for this particular week. This week, you can consider this an energetic update of this week as well. We have the triple, the trifecta, the cosmic trifecta coming up the 17th, 18th, and the 20th. The 17th, which is tomorrow, is going to be our great energetic seal by the cosmic messenger. And we'll get into that, so you'll see what I'm talking about. And the 18th, of course, is the new moon right behind that, helping to seal the deal of this energetic seal. And then on the 20th, we have spring forward, our spring equinox, right, as well as what I call doomsday. And we'll talk more about that, in another video of what is up and coming. And it's not doomsday as you think. It's not the end of the world, but we'll speak on that. So let me go into the cosmic messenger. This is in case any of you have been under a rock in the past 6 months. If you haven't heard of Third Eye Atlas, whom they call 3-Eye Atlas, okay? This is the major cosmic event. We can hear so many things, like that plane flying over, and this is what it's like. A lot of planes are just flying over people's heads right now. The cosmic messenger that is traveling along our ecliptic plane is the major cosmic anomaly right now. It is the major shift in time, the shift of all shifts, once in a lifetime opportunity that ones do not want to miss. And for those who have been entuned, doing their soul excavation, crossing the bifurcation bridge, which is the bifurcation split that has been happening. But for those of us who've been doing the excavation and the shadow work and the soul work in the deep trenches of our soul's affairs, we have found the bifurcation split to be a bifurcation bridge. And so we're coming over that bridge right now. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, like I'm looking into that light, and we're seeing that we're here. And it may have felt heavy, particularly in the last month, because a lot has been amping up in the last month, especially with Mercury retrograde, and we had family affairs that have been picking up, seeing the winds pick up, the wisdom in the wind. We're closing out of our throat chakra season, and we're about to enter, as we enter into spring, into the third eye, and Third Eye Atlas is taking us there. I'll take you there. So let's go into some of these anomalies, right? I'm going to take you with me. For those who have not heard, if this is the first time, buckle up, get your popcorn out, and really tune in to what Third Eye Atlas has been speaking to us, to how it has been speaking to us. For those who may not know, it is a consciousness, a cosmic consciousness in and of itself that has been releasing gases into the masses of our space and time. It has been updating our entire solar system. And this is why we've been seeing a lot of upheavals in the earth, because wherever there's pressure points within the earth, wherever there's disgruntled collective energy, for however long it's been sitting there, it's been pressured to be released. And so it is with our personal internal will, if you will. Wherever there has been any pressure points, or what I call resistance points within the mind-body complex, it has been pressurized. It is being brought up to the surface so it can be recognized, pressurized to be recognized, right? Not to be advertised, but recognized by you, by the all-seeing eye, to have acknowledgement, accountability, so that you can move forward in integrity. So it has been helping us engage in these multiple ways, right? that we may not have noticed. So let's go first into just kind of going back to where Third Eye Atlas has been trailing from. It was first discovered in around July of 2025, right? It is the third interstellar object that they had discovered, and it was by, let's say, a place called Atlas, hence the name 3i Atlas. And there's no coincidence in that because of the atlas in time, and even just what the letters break down as it enters into our system, as it maps out and remaps our land. It's like it's rescaping the land. But it is really remapping our field of information. It is remapping the planetary ascension as well. So as we recognize it coming into our system, at this time it was coming through Sagittarius. They witnessed it and they saw it coming through the constellation of Sagittarius, which points to the galactic center. So that means it's coming from the galactic center, and it entered our solar system, particularly after the eclipse time of Virgo season. So right after that, we went into the first month after that. We started to see, if you can look back, you'll see people were talking about, we were parallel traveling like this, and then here goes the timeline split, the bifurcation split started to happen. It was time for us to work out these differences as well as harmonize within the differences, work them out by harmonizing, if that makes sense. And so Third Eye Atlas went right on in, working with the first two personal planets, Venus and Mars. And so as it entered our system, it entered first with Mars. The first interaction, close interaction, was with Mars in October, on October 3rd, right? And so it was updating Mars, bringing Mars into its maturation, and which I spoke about in other videos, about bringing it to going from study war no more into a place or a state of wisdom, where you move with wisdom and assertion rather than war and aggression. And then it passed by Venus on November 3rd, a month later, exactly a month later, the 3rd. So there were these codes pinging, the third, there's the creative completion. And not only that, scientists were saying that they were hearing feedback around that time that was like almost sending like Morse codes, like boop, boop, and it was coming in threes. There's something about the threes that it was highlighting for us, right? That there is a creative completion happening, and the 3 is the first portal, the first dimensional portal out of the 369. Okay, you have 3 creative completion, you have 6 receptive completion, and you have 9 spiritual completion. So that 3 is representing that. It's like Third Eye Atlas was saying, here we are, we're entering the first dimensional main portal. Here's a creative completion of what is taking place. And so then it passed by, after that, it passed by the sun, and indirectly Mercury at the same time, because Mercury was in a very close position with the sun. So it was updating, and there was heavy exchange of information between the sun and Third Eye Atlas, and it did reflect back on Earth. All through this, we have been seeing, if you check these time frames, particularly when it was close to the sun, you'll see there were a lot of planetary upheavals, not for doom and gloom, but for releasing of these pressure points at these particular ley lines in the earth. So this was happening, and we had the first 3 months. This entire ecliptic window has been 6 months. So we had 3 months of a great purification, and we had the next 3 months of a great disillusionment of what was happening. And within the first 3 months, we were also working with, for those who were with me, the energy centers. We did a root chakra workshop, and there was supposed to be a sacral, but things got really hectic during the sacral, and go figure, the sacral is the emotional body, and things were really just getting tossed up in the air around November, or the month of Scorpio, which is what I called retrograde month, right? And this retrograde month really had things tossed up for us. Really had people either really just got thrown off, discombobulated, or they really barred down tighter to their spiritual purpose. But we had to hold on because we were in for a ride, right? So that was happening during, Scorpio season. And then we went into Sagittarius the third month. So the first 3 months were Libra, Scorpio, and December, otherwise known as Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Did I say Scorpio? I meant to say, okay, October, November, December is Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, those 3 months. And then we saw what happened. We had a trifecta back then. We had a cosmic trifecta back then where it was passing by Earth on December, I believe, 18th or 19th. It was very similar to this, like 18, 19, and then it was the new moon again, and then it was the winter solstice. So that was a trifecta, a cosmic trifecta right then that kind of solidified everything. And as we were closing out Sagittarius and entering into Capricorn. So these next 3 months were the great disillusionment that were happening in 3 steps in the respiriting season of awareness, transition, and mastery or conclusion, right? Which could be looked at as January, February, March, or Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, depending on how you look at it. If you got the 5D calendar, you know what I'm talking about. So, which, by the way, new 5D calendars coming out for our new year in spring. We'll talk more about that. So let me share with you, as I've given that information, I'm going to share with you the downloads and, whatever comes up for that, what was shared. So the energetic seal closes out a 6-month process of a bifurcation split that included 3 months of a great purification and 3 months of a great disillusionment to amplify the collective evolutionary opportunity for humanity to successfully enter the Aquarian age for a smoother transition into the 5th dimension on the Yuga ascension into the Bronze Age, also known as the Age of Energy, right? We just left the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is the age of material, right? The Bronze Age is what we just entered. We just left the Iron Age. We just entered the Bronze Age. We're going to be here for the next couple of thousands of years. Then there's the Silver Age, which is the age of thought. And then there is the Golden Age, which is the age of spirit. Now, these are 4 ages on the ascension. There's an ascension up and there's a descension down, coming from gold, silver, bronze, and back into the Iron Age. But we just came off of the descension and now we are on the ascension side of the Yuga cycle. So you can further look into that some more. So this is amplifying all of that. It is amplifying us entering successfully into the age of Aquarian, which is humanity, helping us with true humanitarianism so we can enter into the, ushering us into the 5th dimension, which is also an ascension into the Bronze Age. So we see what's happening here. So we are moving through multiple layers of planetary ascension while accessing multiple dimensions as time and space expands through our consciousness expansion, because this is all happening because of our levels of consciousness that is expanding, right? So it is what we do individually that helps the collective, and it is Earth's response to this evolution in time that has sent the message out to the galactic center in the first place for there to be a return response in the form of Third Eye Atlas, which we will never see again in our lifetime. This is very much a once in a lifetime opportunity, as it is really releasing a lot of information for us. Ashe. Now, the cosmic messenger has come from the galactic center through the constellation of Sagittarius in the first month of the Great Purification, which was Libra, right after the eclipse time in Virgo. So right after that Virgo eclipse began the first 3 months, right? When it officially entered our solar system by updating Mars. And that was in October. That was in the month of Libra. That is when it officially entered our solar system, and that's when it was on everybody's radar. If you look back, you'll see that's when everyone was talking about Third Eye Atlas, Third Eye Atlas. There were many videos around that time because that is when it entered our solar system. It then spent 6 months traveling along the ecliptic plane with the lunar nodal axis of Virgo Pisces, amplifying this evolutionary process of shedding what we no longer need in the shadows of Virgo from our south node to the evolutionary ascension of our spiritual house of Pisces for our destined purpose of the north node transition. So what are we saying here? What it was mainly doing was amplifying our evolutionary ascension from taking advantage of while we were in that window, because the universe is very timely, divinely timed, and taking that advantage of while we were in that window of south node in Virgo going into north node in Pisces. Why? Because Pisces is that spiritual house. Virgo is helping us when we get rid of the shadows. We release what we don't need that doesn't serve humanity, because Virgo is about service, right? And we let go of the obsession of details so that we can ascend into the one mind consciousness. How Pisces dissolves these borders. Instead of having these rigid, strict borders, it dissolves the borders and it lets us know that we can be guided, but we don't need to be obsessed with guidelines. That's what we're letting go. So the things that have been happening in the past 6 months in our lives have been to flip us upside down, to get us out of that reality if we so choose to see things in that way. So if you haven't already, I would invite you to reevaluate how you have been viewing relationships, jobs, personal assets, all of that, everything in this world, how you have been reviewing or viewing it. I would say review to see how you've been viewing it, to know what was being awakened in you. Okay? So that's what was happening, coming from south node in Virgo into north node in Pisces. It really wants to take us to that. I keep hearing, I'll take you there. And right, and I also been hearing with this with third eye atlas is, let me upgrade you, because it's updating us. All right, so this amplification and solar system update is for the soul's purpose, and I mean the soul purpose as in only, and the soul meaning our soul and the soul of this planet. It is for the soul's purpose of spiritual maturation. That's what it's really amplifying. If I can sum it up into one word, I'm pretty sure it's doing a multitude of things. But if I can sum it up into one thing, I would say ultimately it's bringing us to a spiritual maturation on multiple levels, right? So this spiritual maturation to accelerate the planetary ascension and solidify the Aquarian age in its existing, well, let me say it this way, I got to be careful. So it is to accelerate the planetary ascension and solidify the Aquarian age into the fifth dimension now and where it is right now. So understanding that this spiritual maturation is to help us accelerate this planetary ascension, which is also solidifying that Aquarian age into the fifth dimension. I had to say it 3 times, like make sure it stick. Like I'm hearing, like make it stick, so we understand what this